Well, guys, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to come out on a Monday afternoon. You guys that were at practice, thanks for showing up for spring ball practice 1. And just like anything, man, thank you, Jesus, for another opportunity to be around these kids, man. Just even driving into practice today, I was just like, thank you, Lord, for just the opportunity to impact these young men. And I promise you, they impact me every single day. So excited where we're at, excited where we're growing to. March 10th came quick. And joking in with a couple guys in the locker room today, they're like, man, I feel like I just took my pads off for the Fiesta Bowl, right? That's how the off season goes. We're going to blink, it's going to be summer, blink, it's going to be fall camp, and then we're heading out to Florida. So excited where our team is at. And I think just like anything, we talked even last off season, is I think everyone around the country is obviously in a different place. And so I've been really on our team about process over outcome. There's a lot of outcomes we all want. There's personal outcomes that a player might want, all league, all American, NFL draft pick, no different as a team, championships and college football playoff. But none of those come if you miss your process. And a huge part of that for us was our winter training. Coach Hilgard, our strength staff, Garrett Hawley, Sam Wade, did a phenomenal job with our team really the past 8 weeks. I mean, we didn't have really much time off at all. The Fiesta Bowl was over. We got to work. There's no time to waste. And so I'm just proud of our guys keeping that mentality, keeping their head down, growing. Our staff's trying to find new ways to evolve and grow. A huge part for us was able to keep our staff intact, man. That was a huge deal to me, huge deal for our players, and hats off to our coaches believing in what we're doing here so we can hit the ground running fast in spring. And talked to our team last week about Built Different, right? We've talked about that. We tweet about it. It's in our building. It's easy to see this term, Built Different. But it's really like, what does that mean? And we do things different here. And we define Built Different as building champions on and off the field by urgently doing common things in an uncommon way. By urgently doing common things in an uncommon way. So what are some common things? Practice, right? We're not alone in the fact that we have 15 spring ball practices. It's not like, all right, we're going to go find a way to get 16 or 17. No. We have the same amount of practices, same amount of meeting time as all of our competition. Everyone across the country, all 134, I think it is, FBS teams. But how do we do it different? How do we do the common things in an uncommon way? Because that's what separates Boise State. That's what separates us. When you come in a meeting room, it's hoods off, hats off, notebook out, ready to work, ready to grow. Those are the things that we do to separate ourselves. No different on the practice field. What's up, Jay? No different, right? Nobody walks on the practice field. Nobody does. And if you do, now we're doing common things in a common way. That's not us here. And so just trying to continue to be on that journey, on that climb for our team and excited where we're headed. It's cool to get some of our new guys that early enrolled in January out there practicing around us. You can finally put on film where they're at. So proud of our team. And I talked to our team after practice. This should be the worst you practice all year long, right? We're a developmental program. It's all about growth. So practice 2 should be a little bit better than practice 1. Practice 3 should be a little bit better than practice 2, so on and so forth. And that's the mentality we have to have. So excited to watch the film, excited to keep growing together. But I'm proud of this team. I love being around these guys. They impact me every single day and excited where we're heading to. So with that, I can open up for questions.
Obviously, we knew the post-Ashton Genty era was coming, but just kind of still weird to not see a number 2 out there. Just what do you make of that and the running back position? And I know Sire wasn't out there today. I'm not sure if you can say what's going on there.
Yeah, it was funny. We had our first Friday morning winter workout, which is like our Built Different programs. Almost 7 weeks ago now, BJ. And I FaceTimed Ashton right after, Ahmed, Shay, talked to Tubes, because it's that first couple practices. It's different just because they're not there, right? These guys, you've been around them for years. You love them dearly, not just because of how they play on the field, who they are in the locker room, who they are in the community. And then obviously even going out to practice today, I miss those guys. Obviously it's time for us to move on and go. It's not, and I'm so excited what God's doing in their life and where they're going forward with our guys that are going to play in the NFL. Some of our guys aren't. Excited for them to be in the professional world and what they're doing. But it is definitely something that is, really near and dear to my heart. These guys are part of this program forever. And miss them, but I'm excited where we're growing to. And I know there's a lot of guys on our team, especially in those positions, the running back room, the edge room, or positions where guys have left and moved on to the next level. They're excited for their shot now. No different for our running back room. Sire Gaines is going to really be out this week, BJ. He's still dealing with the injury he had in season. He's close. He was able to do a lot of our winter workouts. Garrett Hawley, our head athletic trainer, does a really good job with him. It's no new injury. We're going to make sure that when he comes back, he's 100%. He's a pivotal part to our team, and we're not going to push him back before he needs to. He will be in spring ball. He will be a full participant, but we're going to work through this week to kind of get him up to speed.
Do you think between now now in August, one of those guys at running back needs to step up and be the guy, or do you think running back by committee can work for you
Absolutely.
guys?
I mean, it's going to be competition turned up through the roof. Excited to see who elevates themselves to be that number one guy. Now, we're going to play with a lot of different running backs, and that's something that I believe in. I want to be able to roll guys. Does that mean even playing with 2 running backs in the game at one time? Absolutely it does. So we're going to find ways for guys that earn it to be out there a lot. And there's going to be a starter. There's going to be someone behind him. That doesn't mean that one guy's going to play and someone else isn't. But we want the competition to be turned up. We got a really good group in there. Sire Gaines, awesome getting Breezy back healthy. Had a really good training this offseason. Dylan Riley's done a really good job. And Malik Sherrod coming in this offseason's worked his absolute tail off through the 8 weeks of winter conditioning, and he had a really good practice today. And even Troy Wilkie, man, he's like a Swiss Army knife. He's been awesome for us on special teams. He's going to be doing a lot of running back for us this spring, and he did a really good job. So we're going to, every practice, we're going to grade, see where guys are at. Then you go through practice 2, grade who did better, who didn't, who's elevated themselves. Because in spring ball, depth charts are seeding charts, and I'm very open with our team about this. You're coming off a really good season, and you're a returner. It still doesn't matter. Yes, you have equity and trust with the team, with the coaches, but it's your job to continue to earn the right to be the starter again. If I'm the number 2, I'm waiting for 1 second. If that guy misses a rep or doesn't do something the way he should, I'm trying to catch him. That's competition, where you are urgent to win in everything you do, and I want that across the board. Obviously, we will run the football here. Like, we believe in it. That is our mentality. Just because Ashton isn't here, that does not change. We will run the football here. We will establish a run game on offense, and first and foremost, defensively stopping the run. That's championship football, and so competition is going to be turned up consistently in all position rooms, but especially in the running back room. And Coach James Montgomery is going to do a really good job making sure guys get their reps, and we have a really good idea when we leave spring.
Coach, what about the 2 new junior college quarterbacks? We haven't had a chance to see them until today. Giles or Giles?
Giles, yep.
Giles and Benson.
Yeah, Trenton Giles and Jack. Really been awesome to get him here. Jack came a little bit later in the semester than Trenton did. Trenton Giles, his dad was my offensive coordinator in high school from San Diego. So I've known him for a long time, known his family for a long time. And so we'll see how spring ball goes. Just like anything, we're giving them an opportunity to come here and compete. Jack's a local kid, went to junior college as well, and is back to compete to make the roster and be a part of the team. And so excited to see what those guys do, Mike. Don't know. With new guys, you can see what they do on film. You can see some of what they've done before they came here, some things they do well, maybe some things you're excited for them to grow in. But we're really not going to know exactly who they are and the value they bring football-wise until we get through 3-4 practices.
What's the most important thing day 1 of spring ball for you?
Yeah. Number 1 for me today was urgency. Urgency in everything they do. For us, that's my best right now. That's what I want to see. Not hoping for practice 2, not trying to go out and make plays. Like, if I'm in my meeting, this is my best meeting that I've ever had right now. No different this morning. We're at 6 a.m. in the building. So guys are here at 6. Hey, daylight savings time, who cares? Let's roll. That's what I wanted to see. And I felt like we had that today, Johnny, where no matter what, hey, I lost the rep before. Hey, it's my best right now, the next rep, the next rep, the next rep. I feel like there's really good urgency at practice today. Really good urgency. We went through our core values over the 8 weeks to instill those. I'm not going to go into those right now. We will. But just I wanted our team to be extremely urgent in everything they did. That's that process over outcome. I'm not worried about where I'm on the depth chart, how good I think I'm going to be. I am my best right now, from the meeting room to the training room to individual drills to group drills to team. And I really feel, without watching the tape, I feel like our guys did a good job of that today.
Spencer, you've lost some big leaders, some team captains. Yeah. Have you seen anyone who's stepping up yet? Have you discussed new team captains coming in? How's that all standing?
Yeah, are seeing some guys step up. Very, very intentional. We have a leadership group which is voted on by their teammates. We also have an influencer group which is voted on by their teammates. Not going to go into detail who's in that group, but this is a select group of guys that, not my opinion, this is what the team thinks have elevated themselves in these position groups to lead, not just because of how they play on the field, that's a part of it, but also how they live their life. And it's been really exciting to see some guys step up. Obviously, some huge voids in leadership from Ashton Ahmed, Alexander Tubner, I can keep going down the list, Ben Dooley. But really excited to see some guys step up. Maddox Madsen's done a really good job leading this offseason. Marco Notarini's another one that stepped up. Cage Casey and Mason Randolph, huge leaders in that offensive line room. And Roger Carrion, also those 3 are doing a really, really good job with our O-line. And even starting to see, Ty Benefield's, he's one of the top leaders on our entire team as well. So even in the back end, bringing that leadership forward, seeing Jeremiah Irby and Amarion McCoy step up. So I'm saying a lot of names because this was also practice 1. And just like anything, practice one, urgency is always going to be high. Everyone's going to be fired up to practice. We haven't practiced well. How are we going to be practice 8? That's really when you find out who your leaders are. That they're going to be selfless. They're going to live the standard, not just try and point it out. And we're going to find that as we continue to keep going. Because for me, leadership, and I intentional to teach our players this, but it's also something that I'm telling myself every day, is we got to continue to focus on these things. It's not something that you're just going to, oh, you're a leader because you're an older guy. And first off, for me, it's inspire others to achieve. That's the first part. What makes you inspire others? Could be how you play, how you work. I inspire others to achieve. Then you have to serve them so they can. That's a hard part because everyone thinks as a leader it means just look at me. Now, how do I serve people the way I need to? And then last part is celebrate them when they do. So that's the 3 parts of leadership we teach, once again, to our players, to our coaches, the inspiring, the serving, and then celebrating them. And it's something we're going to continue to work through, especially with the lack of leader, or not the lack of leadership, the leaders that left. There's guys in our room that are excited to lead and have done a really good job. I'm excited to see them grow through spring ball.
Frank Miley back, was watching him.
Huge.
Was watching him today, and just that dynamic with him and Eric. And what I mean, he's out there as coaching the D line and allowing Eric to do some different things. I mean, how big of a deal is to get him back, and what you thought of him out there?
Yeah, BJ, great question. Frank Miley is one of the best human beings I've ever been around. He's a huge mentor to me. I love him. I'm talking even off the field, just how he lives his life, how he is as a father, how he is as a husband. Just a very inspiring man to be around. And he's a really good football coach. Obviously worked with him for 2 years. And so getting him back to not only how he's going to help us in the D-line or defensively, having him around our whole team. I mean, he spoke to our whole team a week ago just about what this phase of training is. We talked about being in the furnace. He related it to building a sword. Like, we're in the furnace right now. The easy thing is to get out of the fire. You got to stay in the fire. And just how he can speak to the team, how he can touch so many different people. And then to your point, BJ, defensively, I mean, you talk about a guy that could take the D-line, take anybody, coach him up so Chins can walk around, maybe work more at the back end. Him and Coach Frazier can work together on the front 4. It's a huge addition for our defense on our team. And getting Frank Miley back was a monster hire for me this offseason. Do
you expect that to happen a lot? I mean, I saw him and Eric kind of working together, but do you expect moving forward that will allow Eric to kind of maybe spend more time in other areas?
I do. With where we're at, especially at D-line, though, it's a new group, right? Braxton Feely is really the only one coming back that has a lot of game reps and is a starter. We got a lot of untested guys from either new players or guys that have been here, haven't played a lot yet. And how we play defensively, that's the tip of the spear. Our 2 D tackles are everything to our defense. So it's going to take a lot of one-on-one work with Frank and with Chins this spring. But the goal would absolutely get to where Frank completely, work. I wouldn't say completely, but works with them a lot so Chins can move. Or Frank's coached a lot of positions on defense. Can Frank move around? We're going to use his skill set in a lot of ways, but definitely want to find ways to free up Chins so he can be involved in the whole defensive picture, not just with the defensive line.
Chris Marshall, where is he physically and mentally right now?
Can't really put a percentage on it, Mike. Mentally, he's in a good place. A lot of soft tissue stuff is really what's inhibited. Even last season, had an ankle, that then a hamstring. He did a really good job training in the winter, and some things just keep kind of popping up. We just got to get him to where he can practice full. He's close. He was able to go through Indy today and do some routes on air, but we're going to ramp him up into some of the 7-on-7 in team just to make sure once we get him to get team reps, he's not practicing one day, out the next, Mike. So the consistency there is huge. He's done a good job in the training. He's had a really good semester. I'm proud of Chris. Now, we still got a lot of growth that needs to happen because you're only as good as you can practice. I mean, you guys know my philosophy. Everything here is earned. He knows that. We're excited to get him out there, but there's a ramp-up progression for him in spring ball to make sure that he can practice the whole time.
Did you get anything different in spring ball this year after going through the first one as a head coach last year that you tweaked or changed?
Yeah, no, good question, Bob. I think you're always looking at ways to be more efficient, even from meeting times and how I set up meetings and what I emphasize to the team, how we install things, our progression throughout. So there's a lot of little tweaks that have happened. And the big thing for me that I'm focusing on in every single practice is I want to put our team in very uncomfortable situations. I want them to have to compete, maybe lose, and respond. Because sometimes what happens is, especially your really good players, you win a lot in practice. You win your reps a lot in practice. I don't want the first time they lose to be versus USF on a one-on-one rep, whatever that might be. So I'm trying to find a lot of ways, and that's just not talking O&D. I'm talking special teams too. I mean, for guys that are at practice, we brought the whole team up and did a kickoff competition to see which one of our kickoff, who could kick the ball as deep as they could in the end zone. Like, I want to know, not film, like I want the whole team around you competing to figure out who can do that. We're going to consistently find ways to do that throughout spring ball. If it be special teams, if it's a receiver versus a DB, maybe have best of 3. You lose, you're back up again because that's the game we play. I want to consistently put our team in very uncomfortable situations so they have to respond, because those are the elite competitors, not just winning. When you're winning, it's all good. What do you do when you lose and you got to learn from it and be back in the moment? That's what I want to consistently find ways in all 3 phases to do with our team.
A lot of teams across the country are canceling their spring game. They're saying gives the other teams a chance to scout their players for the transfer portal. Was that ever a thought for you, and why was it so important to hold a spring game?
Yeah, very, very calculated. I saw some of that happening, and obviously it's something I thought about, prayed about, made a lot of calls myself on. We're going to continue to have a spring game. I believe in it. There's a lot of pros to me in having a spring game. Obviously, there's some cons. I get that, where someone could scout our players and all these things that people are deciding to not have a spring game for. For me, there's a lot of things that come into it. The community being a part of this football team and our football team being a part of this community matters deeply to me. Post-spring game, for our players able to meet fans, sign autographs, that is a monster deal for me. I want that. I want our players to feel that, because this isn't just you out there on the field. You represent this state. You represent Bronco Nation that is behind you through and through. I want those moments. And I want there to be an end to spring ball to where our guys in front of fans now can go out and compete. And yes, we're going to look for ways to, it's going to be similar to what we did last year, where you're getting some team reps, so maybe different things built in. But I want to know, what's it like when you've got fans there and you're going to go out there and compete? I don't want the first time fans are yelling at you to be game 1. And so there's a lot of positives for me. So we're going to continue to have it. I'm excited for our guys to work their tail off to compete on the 15th practice, which is the spring game.
First practice with Nate Potter as OC. I know the plays are all scripted and stuff, but him calling in plays and just that dynamic, what did you make of day 1?
Yeah, BJ, I'm really excited for Nate Potter. I've been open about him. He's earned this opportunity. This isn't something where it's like, all right, let's roll the dice and see if Coach Potter can do it. That's not one part of my mind. Like, I've seen him in how diligent he is, his football mind, how he coaches, how he teaches for years to be ready for this opportunity, how he's led the tight end room, the run game, and now to be able to control the whole offense. There was not one part going into practice 1 that I didn't think we'd be ready to go out and execute. Now it's our jobs to look at the film and clean up the things we didn't do well. But we will be explosive and efficient on offense, starting with their leader, Nate Potter. And I'm proud of what our guys did today. They put the defense in a lot of different conflict with some of the stuff they did, and it's good. Now we got to build on it, and there's some efficiency things we need to grow in.
Open up the playbook a little bit in the first practice?
Yeah, they did. I said, go let it rip, man. There was a double pass today, so that got me fired up. Didn't complete it, but we'll keep swinging.
Where are you starting with player rotation at nickel?
Yeah, so right now, Devon Banks is the starter. And that is our job, to get the best 11 guys on the field at all times. He is working through a soft tissue that happened this offseason through these 8 weeks. He should be back here soon. But he is going to go in as the starting nickel. Obviously, competition needs to be turned up. There's going to be a couple different guys we might rotate through spring and the summertime. Then Jalen Webb is a junior college transfer that we're going to start at nickel. And then Cole Miller is a returning player that we're going to play at nickel. Now, nickel, field safety, boundary safety, Mike, are all really interchangeable when need be, right? So we've got to have guys that maybe there's a third string boundary safety who's doing a really good job not playing as much. We might slide him down to play nickel, because those 3 techniques are interchangeable, or those 3 positions have the same techniques. But that's how we're going to start out at nickel, and we'll be able to rotate a lot of guys through there to see as we come out of, because our job, when we come out of spring ball, we got to know at that point, this is our 2 deep. And then, yes, there's going to be some positions when we go into summertime with maybe some true freshmen that come in, or maybe a couple transfers that come in late in the summertime that will work in to compete there. But we got to leave spring ball knowing this is our 2 deep at all 11 positions on either side of the ball.
And why Banks at nickel? What do you like about that fit?
Yeah, I think he's one of our best 11. Instead of him going into last season with Jeremiah and Amorion and him, they all competed and played a lot of corner. I think Devon Banks is one of our best 11. And he's shown the physicality to be able to tackle in space. Your nickel's got to be able to blitz, got to be able to cover, has to be able to tackle in space. Those are 3 non-negotiables at nickel, and Vaughn can do those. Now, him being healthy and him being consistent, that's something we need to continue to grow in. And so there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, but he can do it. And I think he'd be really good at it.
You got a lot of defensive backs through the transfer portal. Was that kind of a focus for you guys?
Yeah, we knew going into this offseason with either fourth-year seniors or fifth-year seniors or COVID. I mean, we had 5 senior safeties last year, 4 or 5, something like that. So we knew going into this we were going to take a really good group of freshmen, right? We believe in high school recruiting. We need to hit home runs on high school recruiting, but we knew we had to get some older guys to come in and compete. And so through practice 1, we had some early enrollee freshmen out there competing. We had some transfers out there competing. We'll see how they did. I was excited to see them go out there and run around and compete. Got to watch the film to see exactly where they're at.
Anybody other than Banks that's moving positions?
Troy Grizzle's gonna be playing some tight end as we go through spring ball. That might be permanent, might not. Want to kind of see how he does. Off the top of my head, Bob, I think that's the only one at this point that was a major change.
Rip from.
Yep, sorry, Rip going from inside linebacker to he was a swing edge guy inside linebacker last year, but Jake Rip now is full-time edge, and he's going to be playing stud. And from watching it this morning, I mean, Jake Rip had a really good practice, and he worked his tail off through the training. He looks good. Looks really good.
You've had some roster additions and stuff like that. How's William doing?
I was in my mind, I tried to think, like, man, I'm not going to screw this one up. He's 6 days in, Jay. 6 days in. It was a crazy experience, guys. I kid you not, Jay and everybody. We went in there. We knew it was going to be Amelia Ray Danielson because it was going to be a girl. Like, I was ready to roll, have 3 girls, girl dad. I got 105 sons. Let's go. And Dr. West, who's our doctor at St. Luke's, does a phenomenal job. St. Luke's in general, just awesome through our 3 kids. Helping him deliver this baby, right? And you pull it out, and you're like, it's a boy. And I'm just like, the emotions of what it is. I mean, thank you, Jesus, man. It was just such a blessing. And I will say this, our 2 girls have my personality. They've been all gas. I don't think they've slept more than 2 hours their whole life. And in 6 days, our son William, he's sleeping, he's relaxed. And so my wife is in a great place right now. So let's make sure we keep that rolling, BJ. So, but no, it's been a blessing, man. He's a beautiful young man, and excited for him to be a world changer.
You want to explain his name?
Yeah, so William is my middle name, my dad's middle name, and then my brother's middle name. So William's a name in the family, and then his middle name is Ethan, which is my brother's name, as you guys well know, Johnny's best friend. And so Mike's getting closer with him as we keep rolling. But so William Ethan means a lot to us, right? William's in the family, and I believe names carry legacy. And I want my son's middle name to be named after my brother, who is someone that I love and respect more than really life itself. So excited.
That's changed after the $100,000 donation, right?
Yeah. Once you started fundraising for us, I'm like, hey, that's your promise. If I have a son, it's Ethan. Yeah.
Biggest difference so far between raising a boy and raising girls?
It's hard to tell right now because of just how calm and mellow William is. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of different differences because once Rosalie and Eleanor, our 4-year-old and 2.5-year-old, are all gas, no brakes, all the time. And William so far has been very relaxed, and obviously at this point he just eats and sleeps and changes. You got to change diapers. That's about where we're at. But I'm sure there's going to be a lot of differences as we keep rolling. So excited to keep rolling with it.
Is there a reason there's no number 2 on the roster right now?
No reason, Johnny. I'm just kidding. No, yeah. No, I mean, we're not going to be wearing a number 2 or a number 11 anytime soon. I can promise you that. That is the way it is. And I've had some guys talk to me about, Coach, I want number 2. I said, there's a lot of college football places you can go wear number 2. It just ain't at Boise State.
Coach, with the recent complaint from the Freedom of Religious Foundation organization, I just kind of want to get your thoughts on the situation. And have you had any conversations with the university officials?
Yeah, so I'm very open, guys, about my faith, and I've been open about that going forward. It's something that a lot of things in life can let you down. My relationship with Jesus is the only thing in my life that doesn't. And that is my foundation. That doesn't mean it's everybody's. My foundation's on Jesus. And that is something that I've worked through and with since I was a kid to college to now. It's a process. And it's by no means me sitting here makes it seem like I'm better than somebody that doesn't. But I love Jesus. That's my foundation. I also believe as a head coach to be very authentic with our team. that this is me. And I want everybody on our team to have a foundation that's not football, because football will let you down at some point for everybody. Money, fame, it all will let you down. So I want everyone on our team to have a foundation that isn't football. And so I'm open about my faith. But there's guys on our team and staff members. We have guys on our team that are Christian, guys on our team that are LDS, guys on our team that are Muslim, guys on our team that at this point in their life want nothing to do with religion. All are welcome. All are loved. All are cared for. But I want everybody to have a foundation that's not on football. And when my head hits the pillow, because of my relationship with Jesus, my mind cares about these kids long after football's done. It's not on the scoreboard that I'm judged on 12 days a year. It's on their life and 20 years from now, who they're going to become. That's what we do here.
I guess Spencer, just a quick question going off that. I chatted with Mason Husson, for example, and he said everything's great, there's no worries, no coercion, as the FFRF put it. Just if a player was feeling uncomfortable or whatever, what's the process for them? Who can they talk to? How's that go?
Yeah, we had 115 players on our team last year. We're going to have 105 going through summertime. And as a head coach, there's a lot of things going on in these players' lives, more than ever before. From things pulling out them social media-wise, from family, to expectations, to academics, to religion, to politics, to race, to all these different things that could make someone feel a certain type of way. And so me as a head coach, my heart is I want everybody to be here, feel loved and cared for, but stretched to become the best version of themselves. That's always the balance, because I don't want this to be Disneyland where you can come in here and it's only rainbows and butterflies, because then you're not going to grow. And so but I want to make sure there's a lot of structures in these young men's life, from me to the position coach, to our strength staff, to the training room, to player development, to all these different phases where we are all hands on deck to support these young men in whatever they're going through. Maybe someone's going through an issue with religion, what they believe in, where they're at. I want that to be able to talk through. And I want to create open conversation with our team on not just, hey, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't. We never have those conversations. It's open conversations. Hey, this is what I believe in. What do you believe in? And I think sometimes, especially you see it a lot with politics, where if someone doesn't believe what I believe, that means you're wrong. No, that's someone else's perspective. That's someone else's opinion. And a lot of times people let pride or ego get in the way, that if someone doesn't believe what they believe, that means they're wrong or they're out to get them. No, we're all in this together. This is us growing. I want to hear someone's perspective. Everybody was brought up and raised differently. I want to hear, what do you believe in, man? And not even just talking religion, talking life, talking dreams, desires, philosophy, and just hearing someone's perspective. That's the only way you can grow relationships. If it's all face value, hey, how you doing today? If I ask my team, how you doing? What do you think they all tell me? Good. That's what men always say when you ask them. No one's going to be like, I'm struggling. Can you pray for me? No. Everything's going to be good. It's my job as a coach to be as close with them so I know, hey, that young man's walking a little bit different. He's off. I got to check on him. I got to bring him to my office and see, man, what's going on? Is it home life? Is it something with your girlfriend? You failed at class? What's going on? Because I'm in their life to support them, but I'm also in their life to take them places they can't go without me. And so, long-winded answer to your question, our guys go through so many things on a daily basis. So many things pull at them to make them either frustrated or down or disappointment. I want our staff to support them in every single part of their life. Religion obviously being one of those. Family being one of those. Frustration about how much they're playing being one of those. Finances. There's so many things that pull at them. It's our job to make sure they feel supported and pulled to be the best version of themselves. Because hopefully, and I tell our team this, hopefully they live to be 100 years old one day. I've got 4 years, a very small point in time, but if used correctly, could change their life forever. And so I'm not going to waste any time without pulling them and stretching them to be the best version of themselves. Yes, yep, an open conversation with Jeremiah Dickey in our university, and we're going to keep pushing forward.
Coach, are there any players that have been ruled out for spring?
Yeah, so right now, and I was talking with Chris about this, there's a lot of guys that are kind of be on the fence, because we're still going for about another 4.5 weeks after this, right, Mike? Hall Schmidt will be a guy that I don't think is going to play much this spring at all. Had surgery in the offseason to get him healthy. Off the top of my head, that might be the only one that's truly ruled out for spring. A lot of guys are going to be kind of ramped up as we get going. Kyle Cox be another one, had shoulder surgery. I'm just going off the top of my head. Most of them, though, will have a ramp-up period. A lot of them will be back a lot more after spring break.
It seemed like today, though, like the
Yeah.
It seemed like we had a couple key guys out, but it seems like there's, from the O-line, most of those guys
It is.
have a ton of guys out.
Yep. BJ, we're in a good place right now. And hats off to our players first and foremost, getting themselves ready for training and getting ready for practice. But I was open. I mean, when we go to play the championship game, we had 21 of 22 starters available for that game. That's never happened here. You know, those are things that are huge to where, like you're saying, BJ, you don't limp into the offseason where you got a 30-year roster is not even able to participate and grow at all in spring. And is a testament to our players that these guys know they need spring. They're like, no, I'm not. I got to make sure I keep my body healthy to where I don't miss any practice. If I do, I can find my way back later in spring. So we're in a good place. There's still some guys out that we got to get back, and they're close because every rep matters. But we're in a good place.
Spencer, you know, last year it was your first year as a head coach, and you look at this year, and I know that the guys knew you pretty well, but like they were getting to know you as a head coach, being the main voice. You're all about process. How much more, I don't know, efficient is the process? Do you notice like little things that are streamlined? Anything that is a little different this year than maybe last year, where you know some of the guys might not look at you just the energetic guy that keeps saying he loves us. Like the results were there.
Yeah.
You went 12-2 and went to a Fiesta Bowl.
Hey, Jay, I'm going to answer that question first. I'm doubling down on our process and finding ways to even do it better, starting with me. I spent a lot of time in January just taking notes on lessons learned for myself. And I did this all off season, so I'm going back and reading my notes from the winter training last year. What are some things I learned? What are some things we did schedule-wise that I didn't like? No different when me and Charlotte and a couple guys on our staff went through and built out the whole calendar. Because right now our calendar's set all the way till kickoff at USF. And I took time to go through all my notes to make sure, hey, this meeting was too long. We got to cut that back. Or we should have the guys sleep in a little bit more here. Like just to fine-tune it going forward. Because it's all about our operation to me. If our operation's off, you can't be efficient. If you can't be efficient, your process is, you got nothing there. And so just doubling down on always open to find ways to be more efficient, to be more intent with our guys, to where, you know, are there ways that we can do a little bit less? I'm trying to see, is there any way we can cut back time here to where, because our guys know, like, I protect their time, but when I say it's time to go and there's a meeting there, like, it is on. And so there's just so many things for me going through January, February, second year round that I have to do better. Right, going into my second year as the full-time head coach. No different in spring ball. There's some things from how we progress schematically to get into practice one that are different. Right, how we put in situations were different this offseason than were from research and looking at better ways to do it. And so I always want to be a constant learner, starting with me. And with these young men, we've got new players on our team. We've got returners. I love these young men, and I'm going to be involved in every part of their life because that is my job. And it's not just my job, it's what I feel I've been called to do. And that's what all I think about is finding ways to grow blank player every single day. I want to know what his academics are, how is the weight room, how is the training room, is his weight off, where is he at schematically? That's what I focus on. The OD, special teams, schematics, I know what's going on, I'm going to have a voice on it, but nothing will take me from the players to make sure when they are done at Boise State, they are ready to be champions in life. And that to me, that's my number one priority, and just doubling down on that going into year two, to answer your question, Jeff.
You guys have stretched out spring ball a little bit, schedule. Where did that idea or thought process kind of come
Yeah, so want to get practices in prior to spring break.
Yeah.
You know, want to get some in to get our guys rolling, and just the timing of it. And I really like, as you get back from spring break, the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday run through. I like in spring ball not having to go back-to-back practices. I want our guys' bodies to recover. I want to take time to be able to use the film, coach the film, to make sure our guys grow from practice 1 to the next, from practice 3 to the next, so on and so forth, and not just trying to get through spring ball. That's sometimes what I feel, once again, if someone does that way, no knock to them, but when you're going back-to-back practices, you don't really have time to really go through the film. How are we schematically? How is this young man fundamentally, technically? How can he grow? And so I like letting it go longer so you have more time to teach. You have more time to pivot too. If it's like, hey, we got to pull back on some installs because maybe some guys get banged up in spring. We got less receivers or less whatever. You can pull back because you have the time to do it. And then by the time you leave spring ball, you have a really good idea of who your team is. You have a really good idea of where each player is, what value they bring, and then you can be very direct with them, Jay, on this is what we need to get fixed and grow in the summertime.
Just heading into year 2, Spencer, year 1 you had Coach Cuddy, you had Ashton Genty, best running back in God knows how long. Do you feel like this feels like a bit of a proving year for you as well, saying like I can do it without Ashton Genty, and you can do it without Coach Cuddy? Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I don't think about that at all. That's just not my heart, not my mentality. I didn't get into coaching to prove anything. I didn't get into coaching for anybody to look at me and say, look how good Spencer is. That's just not my heart. I got into coaching because of how much I was impacted in college and my life was changed. I've been open with it. I thought I was going to do business. Got my MBA. I'm like, I'm going to go do business, and that's what I'm going to do. And my life was changed in college through the coaches that I had at Azusa Pacific. My life was changed. And that's all I care about. If people have their own opinion of me, they think I'm good at what I do, they think I'm bad at what I do, I don't spend any time on that, because that's also not who I answer to. When I die one day, I'm going to answer for the young men that were in this program and who they were as husbands, fathers, and professionals when they leave. And I'm not saying that for that to be the right answer. That's really my heart. I don't think about it. People can... it's funny when people be like, hey, did you read this about what someone said? I just don't focus on it because I don't want anything to take me off my focus, which are these young men, because I only got so much time with them. At some point, they're going to be gone, and they need to be ready for life, and I'm not going to let anything take me away from that.